Attending today. I am going to begin my presentation on the New Jersey Able Savings Program, and I'm going to share my screen with everyone. Okay, I believe you all can see it. So to get started, my name is Christine Chickadell. I work with the New Jersey Division of Disability Services out of Trenton, and I am tasked with the New Jersey Able program to really provide outreach in the state. I do all the back end with it as well in our state, but outreach is a big component. It's a pretty new program, so we like to really get the word out so people understand what it is. So to get started, I like to say the mission of our state office here, and that is to provide a single point of entry for those seeking disability-related information, and we aim to widely share that information that promotes maximum independence and full participation of people with disabilities within all aspects of community life. ABLE is an acronym, as you can possibly see on your screen here. It stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. ABLE was signed into law in 2014 by Barack Obama. It became active as a savings program in our state of New Jersey in 2016. So it's really an only 7 years old savings program in law. And in all actuality, 2018 is when it became eligible for public savings. So it's really only 5 years here, if you look at it from that vantage point. The ABLE Act, the ABLE law, was championed by a gentleman named Stephen J. Beck. He is a father of a daughter with Down syndrome from Virginia, and he saw a real gap in her saving and independence as a youth and championed this law to Congress, and bipartisanly it was supported and passed pretty expeditiously at Congress. The ABLE Act is named after him, the Stephen J. Beck ABLE Act. Our state of New Jersey is part of the National ABLE Alliance, and that is a consortium of 19 states where we joined together on our alliance to really keep our ABLE program in the state of New Jersey and all the other states very competitive and strong. It's a very robust alliance. It's vital to keeping the program, like I said, competitive and strong, and it's a really good alliance. Let me go to the next slide. So, about ABLE. Today, I'm going to share some very basic information about the New Jersey ABLE Savings Program, the benefits of saving and investing, and how it's really one of its kind in terms of its effects or lack thereof on SSI and Medicaid. The presentation slides that I have are going to take 20 to 25 minutes. And at the end, I'm going to include some frequently asked questions and 3 stories of people with ABLE that really kind of drive it home and help you really understand it. So what is ABLE? ABLE is a savings program that enables the ability to preserve and protect assets while still qualifying for means-tested benefits. So ABLE is a 529A, which is the appendix, the back of a 529 college savings program, which many of you might be familiar with. It's a savings account owned by a person with a disability. It can be opened by a person with a disability, or they can designate a representative to help them with their account. ABLE helps people with disabilities and their families save money. It allows for saving for disability-related expenses on a tax-free basis, and it preserves the ability to benefit from supplemental security income, Medicaid, and other federal programs, such as HUD and SNAP and TANF, for example. This really is the best part about this program and really what you should take home most from it today. The funds in an ABLE account do not count towards the asset resource limits established by these means-tested benefit programs. ABLE funds are intended to supplement and not replace such government programs that I mentioned. They're very easy to establish, easy to use, have low costs, and the assets inside of them grow tax-free. So who's eligible to open an ABLE account? You have to have one of these 2 components here. So all applicants must have a disability present before the age of 26 years old, onset before 26. There is new legislation that just went through at the very tail end of 2022, where we're going to see this number jump to the age of 46. But that is not going to be implemented until 2026. So we have 2.5 years until we can see that. So right now your disability has to be onset by the age of 26. And then you also have to have one of the following. You have to be eligible for SSI or SSDI because of a disability, experience blindness as deemed by the SSA, or have a similar severe disability that a licensed physician can attest to and write a letter, so to speak. Note that ABLE is self-certifying, so we're not asking anybody to generate any of this documentation or data. In essence, when you open your ABLE account, it's self-certifying, no documentation under quote unquote penalty of perjury is the technical word. Just in the event that your ABLE account was audited, for example, we suggest that people keep a file of this proof of eligibility with this information in it in that event. So what can ABLE funds be used for? This is a big question that I get a lot, and I really try to drive home the broadness of what a qualified disability expense is. So money inside of your ABLE account, ABLE savings or investments, is defined as this: any expense that is incurred as a result of living with a disability and intended to improve quality of life. That's what you can spend your ABLE money on. This is extraordinarily broad, and it's not limited to medical necessity. So just to go through some of these, in education, as an example, tuition, tutor, books, health and wellness, housing with ABLE funds. You can buy a home, pay rent, make home modifications. In transportation, pay for mass transit, like Uber or Lyft, or buses, or maintain your own personal vehicle with ABLE funds. Spend your ABLE funds on financial management, employment training and support, such as starting your own business, assistive technology, personal support services, oversight and monitoring, and lastly and loudly, as I like to say, prepaid funeral and burial expenses. And I'll get to why in a little bit. But I've even seen people with their ABLE funds buy things that are approved, such as Xboxes, smartphones, pay for vacation, pay for paint for the walls of your group home. Just to give you an example of the broadness of this category, and it's self-certifying that this is a qualified disability expense you would use it for. So ABLE has some very special tax advantages, which is another great benefit of having an ABLE account. ABLE savings may grow and be withdrawn tax-free. Earnings inside your ABLE account may be compounded federally tax deferred, which maximizes the return on your investment. And what does that mean? That means the earnings, which is the interest on a savings account, or the income from a portfolio investment account made on the money, does not get reported on the account owner's annual tax return. Okay, so there's no impact on current benefits. This is what I said earlier in the presentation. That's really the biggest deal about ABLE and why it's so unique and why it's truly one of a kind. So ABLE savings assets will be disregarded or receive favorable treatment when determining eligibility for most important means-tested benefits such as SSI and Medicaid. So many of us know that people with disabilities cannot save over $2,000 in their own name, or they risk losing these such benefits. This ABLE account, the ABLE law, is the first of its kind to circumvent this parameter.
Wow.
I like to say on that side, to be a little bit crass, if you will, people with disabilities often were subject to life of poverty because of these laws this way. This is now where we don't have to live that way anymore. So it's really fabulous. The impact on benefits continued. Some more details. So I'm going to say it again. ABLE assets, saved monies, are disregarded and not considered assets for purposes of means-tested benefits. So for SSI, let's talk about SSI. You can save up to $100,000 to continue to remain eligible for your SSI benefit. If your savings in ABLE go over 100 grand, your SSI will temporarily cease. Your benefits will temporarily cease until that balance will drop below it. Medicaid, though, will always continue. So ABLE assets are always disregarded when it comes to Medicaid. New Jersey ABLE is subject to a Medicaid payback provision. This is a very common provision with a lot of government programs. But to explain what that is, this can only be implemented after any and all qualified disability expenses have been paid after an ABLE beneficiary passes away. up to and including funeral expenses. That's why I said earlier, that's kind of the loudest one. So after an able saver, somebody who has their money in able account passes away, their heirs, their beneficiaries in their will can spend their able funds on all their remaining bills, if you will. And funeral and burial is included in that, okay? So after that time, which is not a defined time, it can be 3 months to a year, the state can request payback for your Medicaid benefits that they paid for during the time you had an able account. I'm going to go through a couple facts on these next few slides here. So the beneficiary of the account is the account owner or the person with the disability. Another person, such as a parent, guardian, or person with power of attorney, may be allowed signature authority over the account. We have legal limitations and hierarchy levels here with this authorization, but it's possible. So somebody can accompany the able account owner on their account. It's called an authorized individual. Second bullet here. Income or interest earned by the account will not be taxed. It's not taxed when it's deposited, and it won't be taxed when it's withdrawn. And on a little side note to this bullet, I like to say people that are employed with disabilities, that have jobs and want to put their money in able, it's going to be taxed by their employer first. But when you deposit it into able, it won't be taxed again, just to give you an idea. Thirdly, contributions or deposits to the account can be made by anyone. So I think this is a really fabulous way to see people's able funds grow. There's a gifting link, a secure gift link right on the website that people can get a secure code and deposit money right into somebody's able bank account. Fourth, contributions must be made with post-tax dollars. That kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said about a job, if you have a job. And because it's already been taxed, it will not be tax deductible for federal tax purposes. And lastly, on this slide here, somebody can open an able account in any state. It does not have to be your state of residence. We have 46 states with able plans, but you can only have one able account. Can't have multiple states. Able accounts are very user-friendly. You can open an account online with as little as $25. Your money you will deposit when you go to fill out an application. You can link a bank, put $25 in, and your able account is open, it's funded and ready to use. It can be opened online. It takes about 20 minutes. I actually sat with somebody and helped them with their entire application, and I read every single legal note, and it took us 40 minutes to open it. So it's pretty quick. You can access your account easily round the clock from computer, tablet, or phone, or online. So here's some stipulations surrounding our New Jersey program. So ABLE affords very high maximums. You can make deposits into an ABLE account of up to $17,000 a year. Just so you know, that is a national number. Every single state with ABLE, that's the maximum you can put in ABLE. In New Jersey, our specific savings capacity is $305,000 over a lifetime. And both of these numbers are hard stops on the back end of the ABLE account. So you don't have to sit there and make sure, oh my gosh, should I put 17? They're not going to allow you to put more than 17 in. And $305,000 as well is our max in New Jersey. So ABLE really isn't, as you can see by some of these numbers, a vessel for building wealth. It would be advisable to potentially, if you were a recipient of a large settlement or a large inheritance, to maybe open a special needs trust in addition. So 305 is our max, $305,000. ABLE account has very low fees for the investment option. So if you opt to go to the portfolio stock bond option, the range from that is a competitive 0.34 to 0.38%. For portfolio investment changes, you will incur some change fees, and you can only make changes to that twice a year. Each ABLE account is charging a yearly maintenance fee, and that yearly amount is $58, which will be assessed or billed from your ABLE statement quarterly, $14.50 a quarter, which equates to $483 a month to have an ABLE account. Now you can see a lesser amount of these if you opt for e-delivery, and if you do so, instead of the $58, you're going to be charged $33 a year, assessed $825 quarterly every 4 months. If people choose a checking account option, There is also a monthly service charge of $2 to have the paper checks. And that will be waived by our bank that it is administered through, is if the balance in your checking account is over $250, you won't get charged. So this is a nice visual slide here on investment options to fit people's needs. So ABLE offers a wide range of investment options to fund your account. And you can cater your portfolio account according to your goals and really comfort with risk. So you can see stock bond options on here, however you choose to allocate your money. So alternately to this portfolio option, you can opt to have a FDIC insured checking savings account, which comes with a debit card. And that is through Fifth Third National Bank, which is a Midwestern bank. It's very similar to some in our area, such as Wells Fargo or First. I don't know, what's another bank around here? I can't think of one, but it's a Midwestern based bank. And through that bank, if you opt for putting some of your money into that component where you can get the ATM card, paper checks, and the statements regularly, like I said, it's through Fifth Third National Bank. So the next few slides, I'm going to talk about some provisions that come with New Jersey ABLE. Rollovers are possible from 529 to 529 for now. So it's impossible to roll over an existing 529 college savings account into the ABLE 529A. And in order to do that, the ABLE account owner / beneficiary, same thing, must be either the current 529 account owner or a family member of the 529 college savings account holder, like a sibling is what I like to say. The funds rolled over from the 529 to the 529A are still subject to that $17,000 contribution limit, just so you know. Another great tax advantage is eligibility for the Savers Credit, which is also known as the Retirement Savings Contributions Credit. And before I go through the slides here, there is a link at the bottom of the page to the IRS where you can get more details on the Savers Credit. I will share these slides with Naomi to disseminate, so you don't have to write this very long address down. You can just click it in the link that she sends you after the presentation today. But if you're somebody that wants to opt for this, some details about it, the Savers Credit can be taken for your contributions to an ABLE account if you're the designated beneficiary and meet the following. You have to be over 18, you can't be a full-time student, and you can't be claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return. The maximum that you're going to get in this savings on your taxes is up to $2,000, depending on your contribution on your gross annual income. Okay. So this is a really awesome way to save beyond $17,000. So ABLE account owners, ABLE savers who are employed can save beyond $17,000. It's through the Able to Work Act legislation, just literally a couple of years old. This went into effect. So ABLE contributions in excess of $17,000 are determined by the federal poverty income standards for this year. So for this year, we're looking at an additional $14,580 up to that much that you can contribute to your ABLE account. And if you do the math, 17 plus a maximum of 14,580, you can save up to $31,580 in your ABLE account per year by filling out a form attesting that you have a job and that you can save this much. As it says at the bottom, the additional contribution, being able to utilize this benefit here, is only allowed if you're employed and not participating in your employer's retirement fund in any way. Then you can do this. So opening an account. I will say before I go to the next slide, there is other ways to open an account, but you cannot walk into a bank to do this. Okay. You can't walk into, even if you walk into a Fifth Third, not allowed. You have to go to these. So to enroll, you can go to savewithable.com to learn more about the program and enroll. You could call a census, who is our program manager. And that phone number is 1-888-609-8869 to talk to a representative and to enroll. You can email a census or you can send a printed application that you print offline to them in the mail to open an ABLE account. As it says, and I just mentioned, a census is the program manager for New Jersey and for all 19 members of our alliance. They're the ones who will kind of hold that portfolio investment component of your ABLE account if you opt that way. And then if you opt to do the checking savings, as I mentioned, it's Fifth Third National Bank. Couple slides here on some frequently asked questions, which is why I like to hold questions to the end, because very often they get answered on these next few slides. Who can open an ABLE account? And the individual with a disability is always the account owner, but somebody can help them, especially if they don't have legal capacity to manage their finances. And who can do that? Secondly here, who is that authorized representative that can assist somebody opening an ABLE account? It can be a power of attorney, a conservator or guardian, a family member, or a Social Security rep payee on behalf of that account owner. That's who can help them. And have signature authority over the account, honestly. Thirdly, do you have to prove your expenses or for qualified disability expenses? And the answer is no, not at the time. We advise you to keep a file of especially large ABLE expenditures in the event that you're audited by the IRS or SSA. And I say large ones because every time you go to an ATM machine, I don't think you have to save your receipts, but if you're making a bathroom remodel or buying a vehicle, just save that receipt in your file. Can somebody have more than one New Jersey ABLE account? And the answer is no, you're limited to one ABLE account no matter which state you live in, but you can only have one. If you move state to state, let's say somebody lives in Pennsylvania, they move to New Jersey, you don't have to transfer your Pennsylvania ABLE account to Jersey, but you can't come here and open another one. Can friends or family make contributions positively? Great way to see the money grow, right on the You Gift link on our webpage. How often can somebody change the investments? If you have the portfolio investment component, you can do that twice a year. You can make new contributions anytime, but you can change it twice. Will ABLE savings affect HUD? And I did say that at the beginning, but no. HUD will not look at your ABLE assets when determining your eligibility for HUD. And here's a link here that can take you to some more detail on that. Can somebody have both an ABLE account and a special needs trust or pooled income trust? Yes, 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 they work beautifully together. And here's some details of that. So with ABLE, so some of the differences. So with ABLE, people have more control. The account beneficiary is the account owner. Account owners have the ability to make choices and control their funds as circumstances change. With a special needs trust, a trustee or trustees have control. Accessing your money. ABLE is easier to access. We have various options, as I said many times, checking, debit, which make them more flexible and accessible than other types of trusts and savings accounts. Special needs trusts can be more complicated and have more rules in order to preserve eligibility for benefits. And the setup costs, as I mentioned, $25, you put of your own money in an ABLE account and your account is ready to rock and roll and use. A special needs trust have high minimums and they almost always require an attorney. So I'm going to read 3 stories here. I think they're really going to help you understand who uses ABLE and who it's beneficial for. And the first one we're going to talk about is Lauren. She's the parent of an ABLE account owner and her son's strongest advocate. It's her #1 job. That's why she opened an ABLE account in February 17 for Stephen, who has trisomy 9 mosaic, a rare chromosomal disorder. Funds in Stephen's ABLE account will be used to save for his future and to replace the family's aging van with a wheelchair accessible one. Lauren quotes, "As a parent, ABLE has given me peace of mind knowing I can set up my son financially for his current and future needs without risking benefits. Creating an ABLE account is not time-consuming and very easy to do from the comfort of your own home. You really have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Even small contributions over time can have a significant impact on quality of life." The second story is about Katie, who's an account owner herself. She's 28 years old. She works full-time and has Medicaid through the New Jersey Workability Program. She has cerebral palsy and is using her ABLE account to save for disability-related equipment and to build her dream HGTV quality accessible home. Katie quotes, "The process of getting an ABLE account is pretty painless. It seems counterintuitive to everything we have been told. I'm a living, breathing example that this does not count against you. I'm getting the same services as before. It doesn't count against you, and unlike a trust, it isn't expensive." And our last story is a great example of how you do not have to be under the age of 26 to open an ABLE account. And that's because Edward, who's an account owner, is 31 when he opened his ABLE account, and he's ABLE eligible due to a spinal cord injury from a hit and run when he was 17. So he was under that age of 26 when he became disabled. He has a master's of business administration and is working 2 part-time jobs. He's using his ABLE account to save up for vehicle modifications and to finally move out of his parents' house and into his own accessible housing. Edward quotes, "ABLE has allowed me to start saving without penalizing or jeopardizing my benefits. My parents worry what will happen to me when they are no longer able to help or they have died. ABLE gives them some peace of mind about my future. Plus, unlike a special needs trust that must be controlled by a trustee or trustees, ABLE gives me, a person with a disability, control over my own finances and increased independence." This slide shows some 4 great resources that you can get the links as they're given to you after this presentation. If anyone ever came to me with questions on ABLE, this is where I go to find them. These 4 websites are fabulous. And then this is my information here on this slide. I'm available to do presentations anywhere in the state, in person or in Zoom. So please keep my name, and that's what I do. That's the crux of my work, is to provide information on ABLE. So please reach out with any questions or any information that I can offer you. And I am going to open up for questions now. If maybe Naomi could lead that charge, if anybody has any questions. Let's see, chat. I don't see anything in chat. And yeah, I'm going to be presenting at the summit coming up at your Disability Rights New Jersey Assistive Technology Summit. I'm going to be presenting alongside another professional, so I look forward to that. And like I said, please, if there's no questions, just don't hesitate to reach out if anything comes your way, or if you ever have any questions in the future.